This is a video to show off the new Cowboy 246 that we've recently purchased, and I think it would be one of the best machines if you were starting off in leathercraft to have. Some of the reasons are the small cylinder arm here allows you to get around small products easier than many other machines do. In this example, I'm stitching in the gussets on one of our Beverly handbags. We make it Wild Harry, and there's the bag finished up stitching. It's a very popular bag. This is another one of our newer products. It's a clutch purse, and in this case I'm stitching the zip and the lining and the outer all in together in one step. This one's a fairly tricky one to stitch up, and okay. CB246 it is. Many other machines that look like they could do a similar job in the small arms, but they don't do it as well. This Adler machine here that I've had for many years is quite good, but if you notice, the dog foot action doesn't drop away, and this is typical of machines that do a bobbin. You'll notice here, if it tang comes out to the front like that there, it's generally a sign the dog foot only moves back and forward, which doesn't give you the best feeding action when it's moving. Still a walking foot and everything, but as I said, that's one I've used for many years. Some disadvantages are, like the bobbin. That's the bobbin that I would use in this machine normally, and in the new Cowboy 246 you have a bobbin that's easily twice as large, holes, it's deeper and a lot bigger in diameter, so will hold twice the thread. So that's one of the advantages with this new machine. Other little things that come up with cylinder machines that are not always what they first appear is on this one. If I can see what I've done with the ruler, sorry about that. You'll see on this one here, the ruler, the needle from the edge of the machine is about 6mm. Bit hard to show with this ruler. 6mm, and if you look at a lot of these small cylinder arms, they're quite often like a FAF 335 or this one here, which is a Elizabeth. The actual distance of the needle from the edge is about 10mm. So when you're doing gussets on bags and purses and even getting over small wallets, trying to get the bag in that far, you see there that I'm sort of at the limit and I'm not even on the edge of the bag yet. You'd have to be able to shove the gusset out of the way quite severely to be able to get it anywhere near where you want to stitch it. As you see, I'm still not near it and I'm pushing the gusset. So having that 6mm from the edge with the working dog foot is way better and makes it a lot easier. As you see, a small cylinder arm gives you that where you can run around the edges of the small product, little corners, and it does that sort of thing fairly well. They do come with this guide here. I've made up a special for doing some handles for those bags actually, and I haven't bothered to take it off for this at the moment, but you get a drop down guide. You can have the roller on one side or this on the other, and they just flip up out of the way when you don't need it. And very handy way to have your guide so it's not always in the way. Your feet heights, how far they lift up and down as they go, is reasonably easily adjusted. You have this nut here you just undo with an 8mm spanner, and by moving it up or down you can regulate how high you want the feet to doing. So if you're doing very multi-level type work where you need to go up and down over things, then you would adjust it to do it higher. For this stitching demonstration, I've got it set down to a minimal lift because it's only a fairly flat product that I'm doing. Now, other little things that come into this is it comes with a stepper motor, and that gives you fantastic control of the speed if you want to go nice and slow, if you want to go quite quickly. In this case, I've just turned the machine on. You have this thing that looks like a rapid or something on there. You push that button and it tells you that's 3,200 revs that it would be spinning at, but I have got this running through a reducing thing as well. So basically, if I need to go quick, I'd have it up there. If I take it up further, I think it'll go through to about 4,000 revs, and after that 40 it'll go back down to, oh no, now it drops down to 16, so that's very slow and too slow for the sort of job I'm doing now. So I prefer to have it running up around 30, and that's sort of as fast as I would want it to go. Any faster than that, and it's faster than I am. Now I've got here some keepers for some belts that I'm about ready to stitch up, so if you can just give me a second, I'll get the foot down. One good little thing, you hit the foot pedal and that raises your foot up and down. It just drops down for when you want it. Set the job in place. I'm going to try and see if I can start this without holding it. Right, okay, let's see. Now, as I said, I can go along nice and steadily. Hopefully that's working out all right. I'll change the light position, see if that helps. Right, okay, nice and steady, or I can go along faster, or quite fast. That's as fast as I want it to go in this case. And coming to the end of the strap. In this case I just run off the end and keep going with other straps. These are the extensions for the belts, and once again I've decided to change the drop down guide over there to should be a bit more reliable for the job. Okay, and as I said, the speed I can go nice and steadily on if I want, or quickly, and very little trouble. Some luck now, I'll be able to put my belt. these two holes where the extension screws on later. In this case here, I'm not going to just let it do it by itself. I'll keep my fingers holding it. And once again, this is the Cowboy cylinder machine, 246 model. Right, this is some early on trials with the new needle plate that I've just made for our new Cowboy CB246 small arm cylinder machine. I've 3D printed a different needle plate for it because in the standard form on this type of handle it has a lot of swell in the back, and if I put it down onto it in standard form, the thing sits like that on the needle plate and the needle spears out the side. So in this case here, as I said, I've done the needle plate in a 3D form, and we're going to try that out on here. The first two stitches that I do on here I have to do by hand because the back foot sits over the back of the fitting there, and you can't just let it feed through or it'll tear up the leather. So get a start there. And then another, that's the back stitch. Now we're on the forward stitch, and now we should be right to go. I've also printed up this guide particular for this application to help keep the stitch looking good and straight. I think we've got room for one more stitch there, and that should do it on that side. In this case here, we'll have a look, see how the stitching looks. Looks pretty decent there, and thankfully it's looking pretty decent there as well. So we'll go on and do a crocodile one now, when I've got readied up to stitch. Same process, bring it down, the machine wobbles around a bit at the moment because I've got it sitting on casters. We're hoping to get it put inside the factory sometime soon when we can find a bit of space in there.